Flight boss, bitch. You know, for sure. You know, listen to the mind of an Aries moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And you know, if you want to smoke you a motherfucking gold blunt in this motherfucker, you know, shout out to Shy. Yeah. In this motherfucker. And you know, purely. And, you know, you can go to motherfucking ShineRollerPapers.com and you can go purchase you something in this motherfucker. But for the most part, we're going to talk about these goddamn transits. Because you see how things switch up that motherfucking fast? You see how motherfuckers' true intentions come out? Y'all see this heavy emphasis of Mars? Because y'all don't know that it's a goddamn war going on in the heavens. See, y'all don't know nothing about that. See, y'all don't know nothing about motherfucking Pluto, Saturn, and motherfucking Mercury and the Sun going up against motherfucking, Uranus, the moon, and motherfucking Mars. You see what I'm saying? Y'all don't know nothing about that. Y'all don't know about the moon being in Aries right now. Y'all don't know nothing about Mars being in Aries right now. Y'all don't know nothing about Uranus being in late degrees Aries right now. Even sharing attributes of Earth qualities, because it's sharing, it's on the cusp. It's 28 degrees. So it's actually on the cusp of motherfucking, sharing Taurus also. So, you know, all these new imaginations, all these new ways of seeing and feeling about things, people are trying to fixate themselves on that right now. You see what I'm saying? People are trying to formulate that fire plasma imagination from that fire and fixate it into gold right now. Into gold right now. You see what I'm saying? So you need to keep that in motherfucking mind with this Taurus energy. So, here's another thing. We had a motherfucking first quarter moon. So for the most part, we're halfway almost towards the motherfucking full moon when we talk about a first quarter moon. So like when we thinking about this is halfway through. So whatever sign that the moon is in, aka halfway through, is going to be half of the story. You know what I'm saying? Half of the movie. So we're halfway through the goddamn movie. And the movie is getting ready to get developed into the end, to the motherfucking catastrophic or explosion or the motherfucking ending that everybody didn't want to actually happen. That's where we're getting ready to go to. But we're halfway through. So right now, we're not near the climax. We're not near the conclusion. Right now, we're halfway through where things are just getting juicy. And where things is just getting juicy is in the Aries energy. So things is just getting juicy when people started initiating and creating their own way of a new way of seeing and feeling about things. That's when things started getting juicy. When people started initiating and creating new ways of how to see and feel about things based upon the emotions and feelings about what everybody was reacting and responding to, based upon their day-to-day life or what's going on externally and what you're entertained by. You see what I'm saying? The moment the moon went into Aries, the vibrations of what everybody was reacting and responding to, because that's the moon. The moon is dealing with reacting and responding to the realm that we are in. That's the womb, the mother. So whatever space that the moon is in, that's the energy and the space in the world we're going to actually feel. And that's the world we're going to be in. So the world, soon as she moved her monkey ass into goddamn Aries, the world that we was all in was cardinal fire, initiating and creating new ways of how to see and feel. See, when you see, that's visions, that's light, enlightenment. Ideas is, we can't see that unless you express it. So it's internal by default. It's yin by default. It's right brain by default, because it can only be felt and it's unseen. Now, reason why it's yang, or its masculine version of the yin realm, because it's always in a fight to be seen and causing transformation. So for the most part, it's taking the yin realm, aka creativity or imagination, and creating abilities for that to be seen, aka due to expressions or externally expressing your imagination due to forms of music or dancing, or just ways that fire can be seen here but still be transparent. You see what I'm saying? So it can be felt and it can be seen. So when you touch fire, you can feel the heat. You can see fire, right? But for the most part, once it cool off, it's not in this realm of reality. So I always have to keep pumping out desire or passion or intuition in order for it to be seen into the Leo aspect. But when we talk about the Aries aspect, this is the actual spark of it. And when we talk about the Sagittarius aspect, this is the actually it formulating off and cooling off and spreading out, and you seeing one of those orangey, sunny, great Hawaiian days. You know what I'm saying? Those Hawaii days, or those Miami days, or those California days that you see, that you can sit back on the beach and be like, God damn, I feel the warmth. Everybody is connected here. You know, California got a bunch of those beaches and those locations where a bunch of hype beasts or a bunch of young kids that's far out thinkers like to group up and maybe skateboard or smoke, and maybe y'all need to get y'all some gold blunts and go skateboard and, or, you know, ride bikes based upon the skate parks over there in California, because y'all definitely need some of these. But for the most part, when we talk about just that energy in general, you know, this is what's actually going on around the world in general when the moon going into Aries. You see what I'm saying? we got this energy of initiating, creating new ways of how to see and feel, and then when we got the Venus in Sagittarius, is getting a lot of help, because people are having a love and appreciation and value for freedom, and have a multiple ways of seeing and feeling about things. So everybody is like trying to appreciate or compromise, aka Venus, with some form of wisdom, with some form of seeing something from another person's point of view. Remember, this is mutable fire, so this is being mutable and being able to adapt to your own or other people's ways of seeing and feeling about things. So when we talk about the fire, that's imagination by default. So with Venus being in Sagittarius, right now people are loving, appreciating, or value, or willing to compromise with other people's ways of seeing and feeling about things, because that's backed and supported by a form of freedom right now. So everybody is kind of like trying to be more relative to other people's imagination right now, or other people's creativity now, and that's actually a trine, which anytime you get a trine alignment, that creates a gift. So now we got an actual gift where we can kind of relate that with the Aries energy, what is the moon, Mars, and goddammit Uranus. So for the most part, with Mars being in Aries, Mars loves to be in Aries. So for the most part, if you on the negative side of Mars, that's going to be seen effectively right now. If you're on the positive side of Mars, that's going to be seen effectively. But just the overall transits, Mars loves to be in Aries. So that positive energy is flowing fluidly as an influence in this world. So it's going to be an easier access for people to be picked up as an influence by this energy, right? So it doesn't matter if you're on the negative or positive side, that energy is amongst us. And since it's a positive energy in general, because Mars loves to be in Aries, it's going to play out as it's going to be able to be seen way better than a square or opposition type of sign. You see what I'm saying? So for the most part, this is what's going to be seen. So if your intentions, passions, motives, and where you're directing your energy is in the wrong area, those possibilities is going to be seen on the most broadest level. And if it's in the right area, that's going to be seen on the most broadest level. And you're going to know based upon how much negative energy you're getting towards you, or how much positive energy you're getting towards you, based upon the things that you intended to do, your intentions, your motivations, and your goals. Remember, Mars is your intentions, what you intend to do, how you direct your energy. That's external. So for the most part, that's where you put out your passions and where you want to formulate your goals. So for the most part, everybody's true intentions is going to be seen right now, because Mars loves to be in Aries. So right now, amongst all of us, true intentions is going to be seen. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be in the dark if Mars was squaring, if Mars was in a sign that it didn't want to be in at the moment, and it's not, or if it was opposing a sign. It's like if Mars was in Libra, or if Mars was in motherfucking Cancer or Capricorn. Right now Mars is where it likes to be, which is Aries. So it's going to formulate into the right aspect. So if you're not in the right aspect, it's going to be against you as a wave, because in some way, shape, or form, you're going against the wave by not watching Archangel Uriel, or not being into astrology in some way, shape, or form, to know that Mars is in Aries right now. So you need to keep that in mind. Now, also with motherfucking Uranus being in late degrees Aries, right now everybody's uniqueness and originality is coming up with a new way of seeing and feeling about their uniqueness and originality right now. So everybody want to be unique and original in something else, and you can't have that without the other. Remind you, Uranus is change, rebellion, and opposition, but it's also uniqueness and originality. So you can't have one without the other. For you to change, rebel, and oppose against something, you're going to have to for you to be unique and original in something, then you're going to have to change and rebel and oppose against something that was previously there. Otherwise, it won't be unique, new, or original. So for the most part, you can't have one without the other. So when we talk about Aries being here, well, Uranus being in Aries, right? Everybody is taking their uniqueness and originality and initiating and creating a whole new way of seeing and feeling about that, right? And for the most part, they're willing to be changing, rebellious, or opposing against someone else's uniqueness and originality to do that right now. So even if you was friends with someone last week or something like that, ever since the moon went into Aries and Mars went into Aries, that empowered Uranus being in late degrees Aries. So even when Uranus was being weak in Aries, because it's 28 degrees and it needs help from Taurus, so it needs help from that fixated Earth energy, the Aries is still getting a little bit more empowerment in Uranus right now, due to the fact of it getting help by the alignment of the moon and Mars. So keep that in mind. And the moon ain't going to switch into Taurus until late tomorrow. So for the most part, that part of the movie is going to be, how do you fixate this new way of seeing and feeling that you just have created when the moon was in Aries. Now when the moon going to Taurus is going to be how you stabilize yourself on that. So remind you, if you're on the negative side of energy, of Mars being in, of the moon being in Aries right now, when the movie goes into motherfucking Taurus, yo ass, that's going to be something you can't fixate yourself on. That's going to be something you can't ground yourself on. So you're going to be unrelative to the moon being in Taurus energy. So, and then you're going to already be by default going against the wave because your ass missed part of the movie when the moon was in Aries because you was on the negative side of it. So now you get all this negative attention from the people that you are around, based upon how you reacted and how you responded to things. And then when the moon going to Taurus, when it's time to fixate yourself on that way of doing things, you're going to fixate yourself in a way of nobody want to fuck with you, or you're going to fixate yourself in a way of a situation that you manifested that may be unstable, you know what I'm saying, in some way, shape, or form. Or something that doesn't make sense, and it takes a little longer to practicalize it. See, because the moon being in Taurus, you're not going to be riding the wave the right way for it to be stable, for it to be something to fixate yourself on, due to the fact of the circumstance that you put yourself into when the moon was in Aries. And the moon is in Aries right now, so keep that in mind. And with Mars being here, it's adding that extra passion. So for the most part, people are reacting and responding passionately right now. People are reacting and responding to their true intentions, regardless of what they thought and what they rationalized with last week, you know what I'm saying, what they thought have made sense or what they may have thought was funny. Right now, people have a change of heart because the moon right now is in Aries. So people are initiating, creating new ways of how to see and feel about the things that everybody was reacting and responding to. And now people are changing and people are redirecting their energy towards it, having new intentions, new passions about it, new goals about it, new motives about it, because Aries is here. Also, so when you got the moon conjuncting Mars, right, everybody's intent, willpower, passions, motivations, and desires is going to be reacted and responded to in some way, shape, and form. So in your day-to-day life, the moment you dive into your motives or what would motivate you, or your desires, your passions, and your motivations, is going to cause reactions and responses in some way, shape, or form. Now, if you're on a positive side, it's going to be reacted to in a positive way. If you're on a negative side, it's going to be reacted to in a negative way. But here's why it may be slightly negative even if it's positive. So you may be in a certain energy signature where whatever that you're doing passionately may still be backed and supported by negative energy, but it still may be reacted and responded to well from others. So it can even play out like that. But to a small degree, it's like competitive energy, because Aries is ruled by Mars. So for the most part, Aries is in Mars, but also conjuncting the moon. So the moon is dealing with how we're reacting and responding to things. So we're reacting and responding to new ways of seeing and feeling about things. And when we're around other people, this is not dealing with Libra energy or relatable or seeing things from other people's point of views. See, this is why Aries may need Libra, and this is why Libra need Aries a lot of times. But for the most part, we're in a circumstance where people, the moment someone try to force their way of seeing things and feeling about things and trying to relate it, keyword relate, here's where we tap into air, right? Then that air is going to jump into the Aries fire, and then that fire is going to cause friction, because it's going to be too busy trying to initiate and create a new way of seeing and feeling about that. So it's not jumping into the energies of relating how they see or feel, or trying to see how another person see or feel. It's too busy trying to initiate and create a whole new way of seeing and feeling about the circumstance. And then the circumstance is dealing with the moon, which is what we're reacting and responding to at the moment. And we're reacting and responding to conjunction, because the moon is in Aries also, so we're reacting and responding a little aggressive right now, a little competitive right now, a little opposing right now, but for the sake of our own passion and our own intuition and our own spiritual nature. And then that's coming out a little aggressive right now, because it's the moon. Then when we talk about Uranus being here, it may even come out as a person thinking that this is their way of being unique and original in their own space. So we have to be very careful, because this is actually in competition right now with the Sun, Mercury, motherfucking Pluto, and motherfucking Saturn, because these are all in Capricorn. So keep that in mind also. So with these things being in Capricorn, that's a square. So it's a big learning process. So right now, all of our actions, the way we act, how we see things, how we view things, and what we're consciously aware of, that's the Sun. The way we think, communicate, analyze, and how we rationalize and make sense out of things, that's Mercury. How we practicalize things, how we gain stability in our lives, and how we see reality, that's Saturn. And then how we try to take power and control over things, or the things that's taking power and control over us at the moment, that's Pluto. that whole alignment is going through a clash right now with our intent, willpower, passions, motivations, and desires, which is Mars, right? Our uniqueness and our originality, which is our Uranus, and our way of feeling about things and how we react and respond to things, which is the moon. So keep that in mind. So these things need to learn from each other. So let me break it down in a more simple way so you can get it. Now, the Capricorn energy, right? We have the Capricorn and the Aries energy are both cardinal signs, so they're both leaders. They're just trying to lead in two different ways, so this would make them clash. So for the most part, Capricorn initiate and create new ways of how to think and be practical. Left brain, yin. Aries initiate and create new ways of how to see and feel about things. Yin, yang. See what I'm saying? So, right, yang. That's what I meant to say. So, for the most part, right, when we got the sun and Mercury clashing with Mars and the moon, right, here's what's actually going on, right? Our actions and the way we act and how we see things, when we dive too far into how we think and communicate and how we rationalize and how we act, when we dive too far into that, we're going to manifest a scenario where we had to learn from other people's reactions, or learn from other people's true intentions or their passions or their motives. So we have to learn how to not act too fast and not think too fast, because that's the sun and Mercury clashing with the moon and Mars. Now let's vice versa it, right? Now, the way we react and respond to things, which is the moon, and the way and our intentions, our motivations, and our passions, which is Mars, the moment we dive too far into that, we're going to create a situation where we manifest a person, place, or thing in front of us that we're going to have to learn from other people's actions and learn from how other people think. So what we was passionately into in our motives and what we was reacting and responding to, whatever other people's actions are and how they think is going to prove us wrong. It's going to make us think that what we was reacting to, we was reacting wrong. Or it's going to make us think our motives and our true intentions was in the wrong place, and we was directing our energy in the wrong place. If we're diving too far into what we're reacting to, and to our motives and our passions and our true intentions are. If we dive too far into that, we're going to manifest a situation where we're going to have to learn from other people's actions and the way they think. And the way they think and their actions is going to prove us wrong in some type of way. So, now that we know this, now we got to learn how to sit back and relax. Sit back and make sure we're reacting in the right way. So, make sure we're overly observing other people's actions. Learning how to do that at the moment because it's a square alignment. And also, learning how to think and rationalize before we react, aka Mercury versus the moon. Learn how to think and rationalize and come up with good ideas before we passionately go out with our motives. Really truly think about what we're doing before we go out with our passions and our motivations. Quote unquote Mercury versus Mars at the moment. Because Mercury is in Capricorn, Mars is in motherfucking Aries. This shit is really deep. This is going on for all of us right now. In everybody's lives. Even mine. See what I'm saying? Now, when we get into the higher octaves, right? Let's talk about Pluto, Uranus. Slightly squaring each other at the moment. And I'm going to say, and for the most part, I don't even want to say slightly because they are squaring. Now, this is a major event for everybody right now. This is a major event because Pluto is in Capricorn, Uranus is in Aries. So for the most part, they're both in later degrees, so they're squaring each other. So this is a learning process that the whole generation is going amongst right now. So when we talk about Pluto being in Capricorn, Pluto is transformation, power, and control issues. And that the area of life that's taking place in is Capricorn. So it's being broadcasted for us all to see, and we're all being able to witness a big transformation and power and control struggle or issue amongst business, politics, infrastructure, government, the way of making money, gaining structure in your life, what you're known for, how you're seen, what's being popular, what's being broadcast, people's statuses, all of our ways of gaining structure, politics, government, all these things is going through a big transformation and power and control issue. Government, all that shit. Now, we got Aries. Now, Uranus. Uranus is all of our uniqueness and originality. but it's uniqueness and originality in general. It brings uniqueness and originality, and it also brings change, rebellion, and opposition, and competitive energy. Now, that's in Aries. So that's cardinal fire, initiating and creating new ways of how to see and feel about things. So for the most part, everything that we were seeing that was unique and original is going through a rapid change right now. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's seeing a new way about it and having a whole new way of feeling about it. And everything that people once was changing and rebelling and opposing against before, people got a whole new way of seeing and feeling about that right now. So they may not be changing, rebelling, and opposing against it right now. They may be initiating a new way of seeing and feeling about it, and that might be unique and original to how it previously was. So these two things is going on a clash right now. You see what I'm saying? Power and control, transformation, and uniqueness and originality, and change, rebellion, and opposition. And it's going through a rapid change when it comes to business. So business is going through a big new initiative change, a new creative change. Government is being seen and felt in a whole new way. Infrastructure, business, politics is being seen and felt in a whole new way. See what I'm saying? Status, new ways of thinking and being practical is being seen and felt in a whole new way. People are trying to build and construct their status in a whole new creative, maybe chaotic, maybe competitive, but a new way of seeing and feeling about what was previously there in general. And sometimes it's going to create a melting effect, a lava effect, because when something is needed to be changed, there's needed to be electricity explosion, which is the Aries fire. Something's needed to be melted, in order for that transforming of that shape and form. And the blueprint of it is Capricorn. So the shape and form is not even there yet, like if it was Taurus Earth. Same way the fire flame is not even physically there yet, like if it was Leo fire. It's just the spark, electricity fire, like Aries, and it's just the blueprint, the drawing of what can be as a potential of what can be built as the Capricorn. So for the most part, that's why it's clashes that's not even actually manifested yet. But for the most part, this is what you need to understand. Right now, this whole theme is called new status. New status. And you can put that in so many different layers. But that's the theme. Because you know why? Sun in Capricorn, Moon in Aries. Sun in Capricorn, everybody paying attention to status. Moon in Aries, everybody reacting and responding to that in a new way. New way of seeing it, fire, imagination. New way of feeling about it. You can feel fire. And fire is hot. So anytime something is hot, what happens? It melt or transform. So what that creates new. So it's not going to be an old way of feeling about it, a past way of feeling about it like water. It may not be a light way of feeling about it like air. And it might not be a practical way of feeling about it like earth. It's going to be a whole switch up. New enlightenment of it. Goddamn, flight boss. I love y'all in this motherfucker. Air.